Alright, so recently I finished playing through Tetris Party DX. Have some gameplay from Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, because for some reason I never backed up my physical copy and was lazy and have no means to screen record off of the original DS. And thought this was close enough, so here we are. This was the first time I think I even booted up the game, actually, and just went straight into a free match. But yeah, I played a bit of the original many years ago from WiiWare. I think it may have even been something my mom bought because she was big into Tetris and that. I didn't really mess with it for a really long time until one day some of my neighbors were over and we decided to check it out, and we had an absolute blast playing through the various different modes, specifically the battle mode. I think I played a little bit of it on my own after that. But, recently I decided to finally go back because I remember it had a decent single player offering, especially for a Tetris game. Yeah, because I remember when playing too that like icon or whatever of the character you get from clearing a line is kind of distracting and annoying. It's probably something you can turn off though when you actually get into the game. And yeah, I should still have the original on my Wii U since I did do a transfer with all my Wii stuff. But I don't know, I saw the deluxe edition had a few more things, plus I can get a physical copy, which to me is preferable. But here we are. And I'm honestly shocked that some of the single player modes that could even be made into multiplayer. I forget if they were or not, actually, or if we were just taking turns when we were playing through them. But I'm just surprised they never really became a standard because I feel like all of them were great. They're a fun twist on the Tetris formula that's a little bit of a refreshing break from the standard marathon mode. And there's so much potential to like build upon. It's just crazy these modes never became a given for a Tetris game. The only other one, and I haven't played a lot of series games. Like I said, this is my first time playing Puyo Tetris, and I had the next Tetris on PlayStation, and I had Tetris Worlds, which was weird. Had like a sci-fi theme and a story about restoring a bunch of dying planets, I believe, if I remember correctly. But and Tetris 99. The only Tetris I'm aware has any of these modes, though, is 3D Tetris from the Virtual Boy, which I know kind of has a mode similar to the Shadow mode in Party, which will essentially give you an outline of various different things that you'll need to fill in. They added some single, double, and triple blocks, as well as another kind of like corner block, like the red right there, the way that's lined up. And you'll try to fill in the shadow as accurate as you can, which presents a fun challenge too, because you can try to do it quicker or go for a higher accuracy. You need to keep in mind the regular Tetris rules too, because if you fuck up and clear a line, well then everything goes down and it just completely messes things up, and it's fun to have the challenge to fix that. And like I said, I think this could just be a fun thing. They can come up with all sorts of different shadows to fill out in each game. Like I said, I've seen like the 3D Tetris had it, but it looked really confusing because of the whole 3D gimmick. This was a lot more straightforward and approachable. Field Climber was also super fun. I don't know how much more they can really expand upon it. Maybe, I don't know, add different power-ups or something, but you essentially have a little person that goes back and forth, and they'll climb up or down, which is notable, because you can certainly mess up a few times there, but they'll climb up or down one block row, and your goal is to help them reach a certain point towards the top of the board. And I don't think there were set levels. I think it was more of a just standard. the difficulties will just speed things up in that, but that's fine. I think some of them had like predetermined blocks already set too, which is a fun challenge and something they can maybe expand upon as well. Stage Racer, I can see them doing more stuff with that in the future. Like, I think they can kind of turn it into a Tetris equivalent infinite runner. This kind of just had a preset path, and they had a level for each different block of the main group, not the new ones they added in Shadow. But yeah, I can see that turning into a fun infinite, repeat certain preset challenges that speed up further and further. Have like a leaderboard. Maybe if you can implement some sort of battle mode. And I think this goes for all modes. I think you could have a really fun game, very driven by a community, potentially, especially with how recognizable Tetris is. Hell, I almost wish they did some of this with 99. That would have been a great opportunity, considering that was online based. I looked it up, and if I remember correctly, the big difference between the standard and the DX, which I guess also released on Wii, but I probably just wanted it on. I mean, if I already had the WiiWare version, might as well get it on a different platform. But there was more Shadow levels, and there is a new Bomb Bliss mode, which I'll admit I never quite got it. They actually just announced recently a Tetris collection that has a Tetris Bomb Bliss game in it, I think. So I don't know if this is based off something from that game, but you kind of have to set bombs to go off, and clearing a line doesn't clear the blocks all the time or something. I don't know. It was kind of confusing. I still went through it and made it through. I just kind of went with the approach of trying to focus your cleared lines around bombs, and it worked out okay. But I don't know. I never fully understood the exact format, which I think is kind of interesting now talking about it, considering once again I cleared it to be able to clear something without fully understanding it. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing for the mode itself. I forget if the WiiWare version too, you made profiles, and in this one you had a bunch of Konami icons, because I think Hudson was involved, and this was around the time of the buyout. I could be wrong about the exact timeline of everything. Actually, no, it may have just been Hudson stuff. Now that I think about it, the only one I really remember is Bomberman. I may have remembered more ambition that was there with the crossovers. And maybe that was in the Wii stuff too. But I thought your icon on the Wii version was your Mii. I didn't remember. I don't remember if you can have like a standard one. Not a super big deal either way. Just something I thought was interesting. But yeah, these modes, and I remember Next Tetris had a mode that was almost similar to what I said with Field Climber, where you had preset blocks and you had to clear everything. I don't get why, stuff like that for me at least, really pushed the series forward, isn't as embraced as I really would think or feel it should be. But yeah, I was surprised here because it stopped at level 15, which I think is an interesting, challenge. I thought this was going to be an infinite thing, but I think I see the speed now. I think this is when I start to mess up. So unfortunately, you're not going to see that as much, but I still just made it through.